Hi guys, Literary Prepper back again. So, as I've mentioned in a couple of other videos, we have powdered milk in our stores. Now, on a good day, I don't drink milk unless it's, in coffee or whatever, or, absolutely doused in chocolate. I don't like the taste of plain milk, and I go out of my way to avoid it. When I say coffee, I mean like espresso coffee at a cafe. When I'm at home, I drink black coffee. But that sort of goes down another rabbit hole of different baristas don't know how to make a good cup of coffee, and you need something to mask the burny taste. That's another rant for another day. But because we have powdered milk in our stores, now even though I don't like it, I do store it for a couple of reasons. So I have people that I am prepping for in my group, in my family, that do drink a lot of milk, and I don't think they would cope very well if they had to suddenly start drinking their tea and coffee black, even though I have tried to push that for a number of years. But the other reason is that when they sort of go around and they talk to like the children in places like Venezuela, where they're going through absolutely horrific hardships at the moment, some of the school kids that they were interviewing for this particular BBC documentary that I was watching, at that point in time, it had been 12 months since these kids had been able to have a glass of milk, and they all said that that was the one thing that they truly missed from having their old lives, was something as simple as a glass of milk. So if you can have something like powdered milk in your stores, if you have to worry about kids, or even if you want to have it as a barter item, then that's something that you can sort of have a look at. When you sort of go to rotate it out after whatever period of time you're comfortable with storing it for, I believe there's sort of, depending on how you store it, it's between sort of a 5 and 10 year shelf life. Obviously depends on what conditions it's stored under, and if it's been exposed to heat or extreme temperatures or anything like that. But use it for things like baking. So I wouldn't mix it up and actually drink it unless I absolutely have to. But when you start looking at things like different things that you can do for baking or making sauces or something like that, then that's a way that you can sort of rotate it out of your stocks without just sort of picking up the container and just tossing it in the bin. So yeah, that's, if you're not sure on how to get rid of it, that's a couple of ways that you can do it. So as I said, I don't like the flavour. So what do you do? Well, I have a number of different flavouring products that I would recommend. So as usual, I buy my sugar in big paper containers that don't last for very long. So I keep all my pasta jars, and I put all of our sugar into glass jars, or I just keep it in the paper packet in the refrigerator until I need it. That way it's away from nasties. Not that you need to refrigerate sugar, but whenever I have anything that I don't want the bugs to get into, if it's short term, I put it in the microwave, because bugs can't get into the microwave, and that's a really inconvenient way of storing things. Or I pop it in the fridge, because again, you can't have bugs in things unless they get in when you open the door. Can't get into your refrigerator either. So that's keep your glass jars for things like that, even if you can't properly reseal them so that they're completely airtight. They're good for storing things like salt and sugar. So sugar is one way that you can sort of alter the flavour of your powdered milk, but sugar alone is only going to make it a little bit sweeter. It's not going to alter the flavour. Similarly, we've got some malt drink. So this one has different vitamins and things in it. So it's got a bit of like a honeycomby sort of, like a very mild sort of honeycomby sort of flavour. So if you don't want something that's going to come across as like a heavy flavour, then that's an option. But yeah, it's more sort of, you see on the back it's got vitamin A, B1, B2, vitamin D and calcium. So that's another reason why you would want to store malted milk is for the vitamin content. It also thickens up the milk, so if you sort of between meals, or if you're trying to sort of stretch out things so that you only have 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day or whatever, then that's an easy way that you can kind of have something in your stomach that's a little bit more sort of substantial, without trying to sort of keep filling up on water, because that can have other issues if you're not careful. So definitely consider storing some milk malt. But other people also like to use this in their milkshakes to make them thicker. So if you did want to go down that road, there's a couple of other things that I have. So this is just cooking cocoa. So with this on its own, it doesn't taste that flash. It's a little bit bitter. I don't mind dark chocolate, but I still find this a bit bitter. So you take some of your sugar, mix it with a little bit of this, maybe some of your milk malt, and then into your milk mix. And that it won't taste exactly like chocolate, but it will taste kind of more like a chocolate mousse kind of flavor rather than a true chocolate flavor. That's another option. Cocoa will also last for a little bit longer than actual chocolate, because after a while the milk solids and the chocolate start to separate a little bit, so that's a better long-term option. And then there's the processed drinking chocolate. This one's a Cadbury drinking chocolate, and that one is simple. It's literally just teaspoon into your milk mix, and mix it up, shake it up, whatever, and you're good to go. This one is pretty much just sugar and flavouring though, so that's not really great as far as your nutritional content goes. A little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbs, but aside from that, it's a morale booster. It's not for anything else. It's just to sort of keep people happy and keeping their tummies feeling a little bit full for a little bit longer. Particularly if you have kids or whatever that aren't sort of dealing well with anything that's going on. It's a very easy way to make them a little bit sort of more comfortable. It's something familiar, and it's something that's a little bit of a treat. And lastly, I don't know if you guys can get this in other countries or not, but if you're in Australia, I would totally recommend storing a whole heap of akta-vite. Now, I'm pretty sure it's the tin inside is pretty much just lined cardboard. So for long-term storage, I would be changing the container of that, because it's meant to live in your pantry for a short period of time. It's not supposed to be stored for any sort of major disaster. But if you've never seen it before, it's basically just sort of chocolate shavings, and that one, I actually like to put that on my ice cream. So it does mix up well in milk, and this is what we had as our chocolate milk flavouring when I was growing up. But this one was also recommended to me by my doctor when I was pregnant with our son, because I had some major issues with chronic anemia when I was pregnant. It didn't matter what kind of supplements they gave me, I just wasn't absorbing it. I actually had to get an iron infusion like a couple of months before he was born, because my iron levels were just ridiculously low. Like, I couldn't walk up a set of stairs kind of thing. But this is one of those things that they recommended that I try to sort of boost my iron levels. So this thing has a lot of iron in it, but it also has like just a huge, I don't know if you can see that, a huge laundry list of, no, it's too blurry, sorry, of different sort of vitamins and things. It's got, vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B9, B6, B12, vitamin C, D, and E. It's got calcium, iodine, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc, as well as the obvious sugars, fats, and carbs. So this one is something that, as well as being a chocolate milk flavouring, is also something that is going to prevent a lot of your nasties from vitamin deficiencies and all the rest of it, and keep your morale and your energy levels up. So I would definitely recommend this as one of those things that you store for the long term. Now, as it is when you buy it off the shelf, so scurvy is one of those things you got to worry about when you don't get enough vitamin C. A 15-gram serve of this stuff gives you 45% of your daily recommended intake of vitamin C. However, vitamins are one of those things that when they're left on the shelf for a really long time, like even though this will still be okay to eat, the vitamins do degrade a little bit. So, you know, as is when you first buy it, you know, it's really good as far as boosting your vitamin levels, but you've got to sort of compensate for, you know, however long you've got this stuff stored for. That doesn't mean don't store it, it just means that maybe instead of having 1 serve a day, you might have 2 or 3 serves a day if you want it for the vitamin content. And this stuff, it tastes so good that, you know, there are days where you might be home alone and just get a spoon and eat it out of the container. I'm the only one who eats this stuff, so I'm allowed to do that. But yeah, as I said before, also pop this on ice cream as like a, you know, sprinkling type thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Different kinds of milk flavorings. I haven't checked what the shelf life is on a lot of the syrups that you get, but I can't imagine, because of the moisture content, I can't imagine they would do well for long-term storage. However, if you want to experiment with things like maple syrup and honey in your powdered milk and see how that flavor goes, those things do last for a really long time. So if that's something that you're into and it's something that you've got in your stores, maybe have a bit of a play and see if, you know, honey or maple syrup makes it more palatable. But if you can get a hold of this stuff, definitely buy it. It's not too expensive, but it's definitely worthwhile having in your stores. As I said, both as a flavoring and as a vitamin booster, because vitamin tablets themselves are more expensive, and it's not something that I have stored in large quantities because they are more expensive. So yeah, just something that you guys may want to keep in mind. So yeah, if you found this useful, then like, share, subscribe. If you like our videos, then make sure that, you know, you do subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our videos that we upload, and make sure you hit the little bell. And if you guys want to support this channel financially, there will be links down below to a website where you can buy some of our t-shirts or other merchandise. And of course you can find us on Patreon as well if you want to be one of our patrons. So that's it for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.